All right, folks, welcome back. Oh, hold on. Hang on. No, I don't want. That's too high. Let's go about right there. Hope everyone's having a beautiful day. My name is Rudy. You're watching Investments. Oh, the squeaky chair. I forgot to swap it out. So today we're going to talk about we're going to go through a lot of things, actually. I'm finally catching up on all the behind the scenes with these big Lord of the Rings, Ixalan, the Source relaunch, and I can finally catch up with everybody on these videos and go through what's been going on in the market. So we want to talk today mostly about Magic. I guess we'll talk about a little bit about the Source relaunch. I guess we can do that. But mostly we'll talk about Magic. We can talk about a little bit of MetaZoo and Weiss. Weiss had that crazy Azure Lane. Oh my god, that release was nuts. People are like, it's still crazy. The hot chick sets of Weiss continue to be just insane. We'll talk, I guess, if we can get to it. I really don't want to make the video too long today. We've been doing a lot of longer videos. I guess we'll kind of skip Flesh and Blood and Pokemon and the One Piece stuff coming up here. Let's start with Magic, shall we? All right, so in the world of Magic, we had the Lord of the Rings special set come out. Personally, I'm the only moron who likes the special one better than the regular one. I think the cards themselves have more of a gritty, authentic vibe and feel to the Lord of the Rings, the art and style of the journey and the feeling of the exploration and the adventure feel. I think it's cool. I think the poster cards remind me, obviously, of Secret Lairs. But what's interesting is those remind me of like true, unique. I remember when they did the Secret Lair, like Hard Rock or Rock Live posters, and I love that. Those were my favorite Secret Lairs. So for me, it's not surprising that I like the poster versions of Lord of the Rings. But it goes against the whole game piece theory because, you know, those poster style art in Lord of the Rings special is the most opposite game piece type approach to Magic you could have because they're awful game pieces. You can't read them good. The text is very difficult. The way they curve and curl. I mean, they are just art collectible pieces, in my opinion. But without the marketing and hype of the one of one ring and essentially all the advertising, well, we've noticed a huge slowdown and no excitement towards Lord of the Rings special. I personally think it's a combination of the anger and frustration towards Magic and Hasbro still, a combination of the overall macro economy and terrible markets that we're in. And I keep trying to explain to everybody, and I know a lot of people are trying to hold out, but this market is not going to improve anytime soon. I know it's cool and drama. We got all our memes and fun stuff because, you know, life's short. We got to have fun. But the nasty reality is we are in for a high interest rate, whole different market moving forward than what we experienced pre-2020. To the moon, all that stuff, it's not coming back, folks. And when it does come back, it's going to be a long time. It's not coming back anytime soon. There is nothing I can sell you. Your local LGS can sell you. Papa Bezos can sell you. There's nothing anyone can sell you that you can just flip and 10x your money. And I think that's just, a lot of people still are kind of hoping. I mean, there's going to be an exception. There's always going to be, Rudy, did you see that one thing that came out? And there's always going to be that outlier. But overall, we are in for a flat or negative market for the foreseeable future. And many people message me and say, honestly, Rudy, is that really a bad thing? A lot of people, like, it's fascinating to see, like, how do I say this? Like, if you look at, like, when I go through, like, my 300 to 500 messages a day, and, like, I can categorize people. I hate to say it, but I can profile people. You know, that evil word, right? I can profile people who've been in the industry for less than 2 or 3 years, less than one market cycle, and, like, patrons who've been around for 7 years with me. Like, you can see the difference of the people. Like, the long-term people are like, oh, Rudy, finally things are calmed down. If you sell something, it doesn't sell out in 1 minute, unless it's sorcery, or, you know, or a white set with a bunch of chicks in it. You know, things are calmer. People aren't in a panic frenzy. Versus the new people say, oh, Rudy can't even sell his heavy bags. He's in trouble. Rudy's been bankrupt so many times, he swung back around and actually redefined bankruptcy. Right? Is that what we're doing? So it's interesting to see how people's perspective is based on how many market cycles they've been through. It's a really interesting, fun analysis to do. Because the short-term people who haven't been watching this channel or been around for longer than a couple years, you all weren't around Like most of the viewers, like YouTube data, and I would estimate most viewers listening to me talk right now, most of you weren't watching me pre-2020, which is from 2016 through 2016, 17, 18, 19. Those first 4 years, I would be willing to bet 90% of the viewers watching don't know what I'm talking about and weren't around pre-2020. So in that era, to refresh everyone's opinion and in perspective on magic, that era was filled with me with my rise to fame on YouTube, from everybody being angry, calling me a scammer, and Rudy, you're still a scammer. Nothing's changed. You got me. Anyways, in that era, everybody said, "Oh God, here he is. Rudy's buying the old magic, and he's dumping Pokemon and MetaZoo and all this new magic. He's trying." I remember when I got that huge wave attack on Battle Bond. I remember that one. Rudy's dumping Battle Bond for $80. And remember this one? Remember Unstable when I dumped that one for for those from around that block of time, if you paid attention, you'd be aware that the emotions and attitude from that block of time is no different than today. It feels more intense today because of the rate of change in prices has been more aggressive. So like in that 2016 through 19 time period, when I was selling new product, people would make fun of it and ridicule it, but it was met with a lot of people saying, I don't know. We'll see what happens, and time will reveal who's right and wrong. And sure, a lot of products that I sold did not turn out to be great investments. But if you bought, what's a good example? I don't know. If you bought, I don't even know what's a good one. I don't know, an Innistrad, Shadows, or Eldritch Moon, or a Battle for Zen, or like all these products did go up in value, but the rate of increase, especially now in the last year or so, now that we've had this erosion and unwinding of all prices across the board, the rate of increase was not that great if you compare to the S&P 500. The S&P 500, or even if you had bought a rental house for, $300,000, 8 years ago, the rate of increase on that rental property, or in the S&P, not having to do anything, well, I guess the rental property is more active, not passive. Okay, the S&P is passive. You would have done better in the S&P, even riding down the crash of 2020 and riding it back up kind of thing. The percentage of increase, if from a raw investment standpoint, would have still been better riding the old SPYs. The SPYs still outperformed. That's a fact, folks. I can't fudge the numbers. That's just what happened. And now, in 2022 and 3, as we continue to see erosion in all magic products, old products, newer products, really old, conspiracy products, you get the idea. Now that we've seen the erosion of everything, we've had that repricing of everything in the game piece era, it really made everybody stand back and go, oh man. And it's no longer as attractive. And now you layer on top of that, we have interest rates. I mean, I saw one of my friends contact me, send me a text saying, Rudy, I just bought a CD in my E-Trade Morgan Stanley, a brokered CD. I was like, what was your rate? 5-year CD, 5.95% or something. So 6%. I mean, a 5-year CD at 6% with zero risk and an FDIC insured is a tough argument to go against, because in the reality, the odds of outperforming that in a magic product, at least in the current market, is very, very slim. And again, there's always going to be an exception. Some product comes out, gets short printed, pops up in value, and look, Rudy, I'm beating the market. There's always going to be the outlier. But overall, I'm looking at the overall market. And now in 2023, I can tell you all, from the people who are new and the people who have been around a long time, I don't see a tremendous difference. The anger and disappointment is kind of pointed at different directions. This time, it's either if I had to break apart the anger and disappointment in the market, I'd be willing to say 50% of the anger is the public angry at Hasbro. I'd say another 25% of the anger is the public angry at maybe Wizards of the Coast, and the rest of the anger is people out there who are angry at people like me, LGSs, and anybody who sold sealed product in general. I feel like you have these different reasons for the anger. So it's got a different rationale than the previous cycle of, the product from 2016 through 19. But here we are, and as with all downturns in the market, everybody wants to be the cool kid saying the game's over. And of course, just like the past cycle, is the game really over? Is this time around, is Magic truly dead? Like the last cycle in 2019? Or the cycle before that in 2012? Or the cycle before that in 2008? Or the cycle before that in 2003? Or in 1995 when Chronicles and Fallen Empires, which time is Magic really dead? Okay. So far, in the 30 years of data, there is still no Magic product that has gone to zero. There is still no Magic product that was really an absolute disaster. I mean, I guess what? Fallen Empires, Chronicles. But even then, that'd be hard to argue that even Fallen Empire boxes that fell from $1,000 a box, which was ridiculous, down to what, $500 a box now? Or $400 a box? You could have had Fallen Empire boxes, and it still really didn't do that bad. I mean, from even the release of Fallen Empires, which was overprinted trash, from 94 to 2024 coming up. I mean, that's full 30 years, folks, plus or minus some months. 30 years, Fallen Empire boxes, even if you had paid retail of like $50, $60 for Fallen Empires, $50, $60 to even $500 after the crash from $1,000 to $500, losing half its value. I don't think $50 to $500, let's call it $400 after shipping and fees. $50 to $400 in 30 years isn't ideal, but it's really not that bad. And that's kind of what I like to point out. And now let's go to New Magic, okay? Now we're going to jump over to Weiss and MetaZoo and Sorcery and everything. So when I look at today's product, there's just one basic question I ask everybody. Like right now, let's look at Lord of the Rings, the special boxes. Give you an idea, when I ran my patron sale on that, I was not able to sell out. So I am stuck with heavy bags. Are they heavy bags? I guess. I'm stuck with a pallet, maybe a pallet and a half, of Lord of the Rings special. So I said, you know what? I finally have it. And then I started getting patron messages saying, Rudy, since you didn't sell out, will you finally increase your box opening videos to doing a full case so we can get a better idea of the pull rates? And honestly, I was like, that's not a bad idea. So I took the patron's advice, and now we adjusted the channel. We're actually going to do actual six box bricks of collector boxes for Doctor Who, the new Ixalan, the Lord of the Rings. And we can actually experience the more accurate pull rates on a larger scale. If we can do even 5 to 10 videos, and that's even just 50 boxes or something out of my 500, just a little chunk of it, we can get an idea of the pull rates. And so far, I filmed a couple of these Lord of the Rings special ones. And the things that stand out to me, the poster cards are not as common as I thought. I mean, we opened some boxes and we got one poster card. Okay? I've opened literally multiple mini cases, 0 serialized cards in Lord of the Rings special. Whoa, those things are truly rare. That's interesting. Number 3, the One Ring, poster card. Holy smokes, that sucker's over $100, not serialized. The pull rates are challenging. In addition to that, you still have these expensive Nazguls, Orcish Bowmasters, a bunch of $5, $10 rares, and then a bunch of $5, $10, $15 mythics. There's a lot of cards of value that, I know, if I don't say it, the people who hate me will come after me, that are actually selling with liquidity on TCG Player, which is surprising to me. I didn't think it would be that liquid. And I step back and I say, do you all really think this time next year, a Lord of the Rings collector box or special box, whichever one, do you really think these things are going to continue to erode to 0? I've still not seen an Amazon dump, a sale from distribution, or anything on specialty Universes Beyond products. And I'm starting to wonder if some of the contracts and behind-the-scenes negotiations with Wizards and these IPs is if something's in place where they can't damage the brand or dump the brand. I'm starting to wonder if there's more to this stuff, because some of the behaviors, it's starting to make me go, wow, really? We've had the Warhammer, now we've had Doctor Who, multiple Lord of the Rings, and why don't those items ever get dumped compared to a normal Magic branded Brothers War, Baldur's Gate? Well, Baldur's Gate was, no, they still own kind of some of it. It's just a weird thing. It's a suspicious thing. Sus. So I sit back and I say, okay, Doctor Who collectors, Lord of the Rings special. This time next year, is a Doctor Who box going to tank below $200 a box? We don't know. In my opinion, let's say it does. Worst case scenario. Let's say Doctor Who collapses. They release a bunch. The print run was through the roof. Okay, 3 years from now, do you think Doctor Who collector boxes are going to be below $200 a box? At that point, 3 years from now, Doctor Who below $200 a box collector, I would definitely be, if I was a gambling man, I'd be willing to say the odds of that are very, very low. Okay, Rudy. 5 to 7 years from now, do you think Doctor Who collector boxes, where do you think they'll be priced at then? And I said, okay, well, that much time, based on how many are selling online right now, how many people open the boxes, there's no reprint restock of those serialized collector boxes. They're already around, $250 a box with tax and shipping. In 5 to 7 years? I mean, there's no way those are still that. No, there's going to be none left. That's going to be an old product. People are going to look back on it. And no, that I would be willing to bet, if I had to guess a price on something like that, and I know it's not, I should be pumping something better, right? I only have one case of this. If I had to bet, like in 5 to 7 years, a Doctor Who collector box would have to be like $400 or $500. That'd be my guess. I just don't see it. Something that old and that scarce just being worthless. And then you step back and say, okay, so Rudy, you're thinking $400 or $500 for a Doctor Who collector in 5 to 7 years. I know some of you are going to make fun of me. Oh, look at Rudy trying to pump the one set he doesn't have. Shit, we need to pump a different set. Okay, well, on a percentage scale, even if it goes to $450, even after you got to pay shipping and fees, Rudy, and it goes and you net $375. If you paid $250 and in 5 years it goes from $250 to $375, I mean, you're not getting rich, but is that really considered a failure? And that's where we get into perspective issues. And I've been telling you guys a long time, ever since we came off the high of 2021 with crypto and to the moon, we still have this lingering afterglow hangover perspective in the marketplace, which most people got angry from that and left, that believe that if you can't make huge percentage gains, like a penny stock thing, there's no opportunity, it's not fun. And remember, folks, to circle back around, the number one reason that people collect cards, sealed boxes, investors buying stuff, is not because they're planning to have the best investment ever, to outperform the S&P. I don't ever remember me saying that you need to buy this that's going to outperform the S&P 500. If anyone can find a video in the last 8 years of me on YouTube saying that this box of Kamigawa is going to outperform the S&P, I would love for someone to give me a link and a timestamp on that, and I'd gladly make a follow-up video, because that's never been the objective. The objective is, you're watching this channel because you like the fucking cardboard. That's the reason you watch this channel. We enjoy playing in the playground of cards, of CCGs. That is the number one reason we all do this. Now, number 2, 3, 4, we like to have a hobby that we don't lose their ass on. It's fascinating to me that people can say, well, Rudy, I bought that sealed box from you, and I've had it for 2 years, and I'm down 10%, and it's been terrible. And I was like, well, yeah, some boxes, they don't go up, and that happens. And sorry that, you're unhappy that the box didn't go up. Unfortunately, in the Wizards Hasbro world right now, I can tell you, ain't nothing going to go up. I don't care if you got a reserve list Black Lotus, or if you got a new Lord of the Rings, or if you got some Fallen Empires, or some Epilogue Aftermath. The only argument is going to be the degree of how much you're going to lose, right? That's the market we're in. And when people, don't make a bunch of money, or we all have that frustration, we all tend to wail out, and we got to pick a bad guy. Someone's got to be the Joker. And that brings me, now that we're later in this video, for example, I can't go into much details, but I'm going to lay this out there for those of you who are still watching and actually care about more in-depth conversations with context. The sorcery launch. It was a stressful, difficult launch. But at the end of the day, the only thing I can tell you all is the structure of the launch with all the problems that happened. The objectives were achieved. With all the problems that were behind the scenes, it was structured in a way that people got angry at me, and the company of sorcery came in to save the day and looked like the good guy. That was the objective. That was the point. It is my job to make sure the new company, we can do some deflection, and the company is more vulnerable when they're new. That's all I'm going to go into and say. But overall, it was stressful and bumpy. We navigated it. And overall, everyone's gotten their sorcery kits or their trackings, whatever's happening. And the feedback's been off the chart. People love the PCG graded special exclusive Rudy promo and everything that's happening. You know, I'm getting endless messages every day of people, ex-patrons, you know, can I buy this? Do you have a leftover and everything? And again, once again, you know, I know Rudy ripped off this and that. Well, you know, people are fighting for it. The prices of the promos continue to rise, and I didn't expect the promo cards to be pushing as high as they are. That's very expensive, but I'm happy that you all are happy with it, just like PCG. You know, when we shift now to PCG, I knew that the announcement would be met with people making fun of me, and I knew it would be met with people who don't like me, saying that I'm going to fail, and PCG has a 0% chance of making it. Now, I'm the type of human. I'm the type of meat popsicle, taco, burrito, chalupa. That's me. And let me tell you all something. When everybody believes I can't do it and I'm going to fail, that is the biggest piece of motivation I need. Just that alone. It's a beautiful thing, and it's going to work. Because one way or the other, that shit's going to work. All in, baby. We're going to fucking make it work. And now, a crazy thing has happened in the last few weeks. People started getting that graded, nude, exclusive Frank Frazetta artwork, and the feedback in the hundreds of messages saying, Rudy, this is the heaviest, nicest slab I've seen for a graded card ever. This is the nicest metal label, engraved label. This is the nicest graded card slab I've ever seen. Hundreds of messages. All of a sudden, orders hitting new record highs of people submitting orders in cards grading to PCG. From a year ago, when Channel Fireball was running PCG in the United States, the volume of a couple hundred cards or whatever they were grading a month compared to what we're doing now is record-breaking now. Okay, it's been, the uptick in what's happening is just a beautiful thing. Now, PCG it's going to take years for me and the company to establish enough slabs in the marketplace so that the brand is more recognized and premiums like a 10 and 9.5s get a premium that like a PSA or a Beckett would get. It takes time to build that reputation. And it's time that I'm willing to be patient and I'm willing to go the long path to get there. It takes time in market building, and it takes a long time to get a lot of cards graded and into the market, and that's okay. Now, what's interesting is that Beckett, and one of their sales or some report somebody showed me, that I think like September, they have dropped so much in card grading that even the month of September, they're not even grading hundreds of thousands or millions of cards. Somebody showed me, and it could have been fake or wrong, tell me if I got this wrong, but somebody showed me like the month of September, Beckett only graded around like 45,000 cards in a month. Like it's tanked from a year or two ago. And the amount of anger, people are sending to PCG Florida. I've seen the check-in orders of PSA, Beckett slabs with errors, CGC cards and mistake. People are sending the slab for us to crack and put through the grading system. And it's funny because we're keeping all the cracked in the labels and the broken stuff from the other companies. And we're gonna kind of have a big thing with it. It's gonna be cool. So the point is, everything takes time. Anything worth fighting and disrupting is going to take time. And these companies who do card grading have hundreds of millions and billions of dollars in this crap. Okay, they don't want to lose that market share of hundreds of millions. They are going to do whatever they can to protect those hundreds of millions of dollars they made from the COVID boom. And let me tell you something, those big companies, after all that profit they made, they're cocky, they think they can do no wrong, and they don't give two shits about people like me and the competition. And that is exactly the environment I want to be in. When the competitor is so powerful and rich and cocky, they think you're a joke. And that's a perfect market. Anyways, moving on to the next thing. So, finally, we're going to talk about MetaZoo now. So you all can go. Everybody leave. We're talking about MetaZoo. So, finally, after almost like a year, 6-7 months of problems and delays, the MetaZoo Fan Art 2022 set is coming to market. So, just so everybody knows and the patrons, you ready for this? We're doing something really fun. So we developed Rudy the Crayon Eater. The dumb Timmy who lost all his money in cardboard and MetaZoo, right? It's all a scam. It's all fake, right? Right? Okay, good. Right? Don't tell anybody. So there are multiple colored crayons as a promo card. Okay, but there's also Rudy the Crayon Eater. The problem is Rudy the Crayon Eater ate so many crayons, everything's all jacked up. That's the lore and the story here. So these special MetaZoo fan art packs, I have a special batch. Okay, and we're going to have a special little bundle. It's not going to be real expensive. It's MetaZoo. They're not going to be $500 to $1,000. It's going to be cheap. And we're going to have MetaZoo through time. And I've been trying to scoop up some of this leftover inventory and everything to make a MetaZoo through time kind of package, where you have like a box of like all the way back, and we go from like the native to the seance to the UFO to wilderness. Like we keep going back, and you got a nice little kit. And on top of it, you get 3 or 4 packs, probably 4 packs, of the face down unknown promo. Now, there are multiple colored crayons. Remember, each color crayon, the artwork connects to the Rudy promo. They all connect together. And the Rudy the Crayon Eater gets stronger the more crayons that attach to him. So, it's going to be up to you all to find the Rudy the Crayon Eater in the crayons and connect it. This special we're doing, everybody doesn't get the promo. You're going to get 4 chances at pulling the promo. So you're either going to get a crayon, which is what there's 4 exclusive versions, 3 crayons in a Rudy promo. So we'll go into the details pretty soon, and they're face down on the blister pack. So you cannot see what you're getting. So it's going to force the patrons to trade or buy and sell with each other. Some people are going to get multiple crayons of the same color. Some people are going to get multiple Rudys of the main card. It's going to be up to you to figure out what you want to do. If you want to flip them, trade with other patrons, complete a set. I want to see what everybody does. So we got that fun thing coming up in the next few weeks. We're working on it for 6 months, and we want to build like a little package for like a couple $100, and you get all the MetaZoo boxes through history, and then the idiot King Timmy Rudy himself, the Crayon Eater, and you have to figure out and connect the artwork and do it. We want to make a little fun through time thing. It's going to be super cool, and we want the prices to be really cheap. Because again, MetaZoo zero, scam, Rudy fakes the numbers, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to be super cool. So it took me 6-7 months of dealing with this, and I hope you all like it. One last thing. The artwork in the crayons in this promo was actually done by myself, my 7-year-old son at the time, and my better half woman, Lindsay. So we've got Rudy, kind of the wifey, and the son, and the kid did the artwork. So the crayon and the artwork is kid-like and fun. So it's the only time that I ever had the rest of my family, the woman in my life and my son actually do the artwork, and we had sent to the printers and we built all this together. So no, it's not a famous artist artwork, it's us. So we wanted to do something really fun as we exited this year, and all the negative and the crashing and turbulence and Magic 30 and all the bashing, and we thought something fun and not like $500 or $1,000 expensive kits. We wanted to keep it a couple $100, give you a ton of sealed product as you went through the journey of MetaZoo and you chased the Crayon Eaters and the Timmies and the idiots. I thought it was a nice, playful icing on the cake and try to make it as cheap as possible. I think that would be a really cool thing to give a bunch of boxes and the promos for a couple $100. I think would be really a fun experience there. And I want to see what everybody does trying to chase or complete the artwork and mix and match. Instead of giving everyone all the crayons, all 3 crayons in the Rudy promo, and they can just do it, I thought it'd be more fun to make everybody figure it out. So, excited. You're going to see some videos coming up on that, and I'm sure people will just continue to make fun of it, but I'm really excited about that. I think it's a lot of fun. Other than that, with MetaZoo, we got the Hello Kitty stuff, which should be coming to market any day now. And then, of course, I had 3 patrons send me a message. Apparently, MetaZoo just dropped the first manga comic book series or a book series. I got people sending me links where MetaZoo just dropped the first book series or something. Just finally came out. Looks pretty cool, actually. And I believe you can read it and see it all for free online on the website. They're showing everyone, I guess volume 1 or 2 is free, and you can actually see it all digitally. Actually, look pretty neat. So yeah, you should, if anybody's curious out there, MetaZoo, just Google MetaZoo manga or episode 1 or whatever, and it's on the website. And you can actually see and go through the pages. It's actually kind of neat. So that seemed kind of cool. I think the biggest struggle is MetaZoo still continues to struggle with expanding the player base and liquidity. There still seem like, even when I did the video, like we have the MetaZoo native, the boxes held up really well through this crash. Unbelievable. Like, but again, I mean, other patrons like Rudy, I know MetaZoo's liquidity is their biggest issue and the player base is small, but even on TCG Player, like, I think just last month alone, October, didn't like 15, 20 boxes sold. The month before that was 10 to 15 boxes. I mean, for MetaZoo, that's a decent sell-through rate. That's literally like, it's moving, for a 60-day window to move, 30, 40 boxes. I don't think that's terrible. It's not amazing, but for a small indie thing, I don't think that's too bad, especially in this market. I think that's pretty fair and pretty expected for MetaZoo. So I'm still very impressed that through this market of everything going down, MetaZoo native was still able to hold $100 a box on TCG Player plus tax, not even including tax. Actually, I guess 110 almost with tax and shipping, but that's impressive. I got to give him credit for that. That's nice to see. Let's jump over to Weiss real quick before we end the video. That Azure Lane, holy cow! I'm telling you, that could be the next Bunko Babe set. People, I can't believe the demand. How many of those boxes are even left? People went crazy for that. And then what do we have also? I know Weiss is crazy. Like Chainsaw Man. Don't they have like Spy versus Spy or Spy? They have these crazy IPs coming in the next few months that people are already going nuts for. So that's going to be some pretty big Weiss shakeups there. I think that's about it. I don't want to go into Pokemon. There's too much going on with that right now. I guess lastly with Magic and everything, I think people just really are having a hard time adjusting, including myself. I think even I still have a hard time adjusting because the pricing in the universes beyond is working. It's tough for us old farts to accept that. On top of that, like I keep telling you, this is a different market. And I don't think anything's going to change soon. We've never experienced a long-term collectible market with YouTube and, me being on YouTube with high interest rates in a different market like this. For many years, there was no other, cash was trash and there was no point in having money in the bank making 0%. But now that cash makes so much interest and there's so much opportunity, Magic and after the missteps of everything, is just not as attractive. But I just want to end the video and let everybody know, do not underestimate Magic, vintage Magic, single cards reserve list, new sealed product. Do not fall into the Timmy trap of assuming that everything is just over and worthless and all the memes. And make sure you all understand the difference between heavy bags and memes and all the jokes that we have to make things fun. Make sure you do distinguish between the jokes and there is still tremendous opportunity. And I really need to make that clear for everybody. Because remember, most wealth is made and transferred in bear markets. In times like this, when you have majority of population negative and laughing and criticizing, that tells me all of those people aren't touching anything. So those people ain't got crap. And then the rest of the people are, oh God, everything's bad. I only lose money. These are the times that smart money makes moves. So that when something changes in a year or 3 years or 25,000 years, we're going to be able to reflect and look back on who was right and who was wrong. Because I did this in 2019 when I talked about 2016, 17, 18. I did this in 2021 when everybody made fun of me in 2020. And now in 2023, when everyone's making, this is the cycle in the wheel in the sky of social media and just the way humans in drama work. And I firmly believe, which is why, I am okay being the bad guy and I'm okay being the heavy bags guy, because the risk of not doing this is greater than the risk of having heavy bags. And I am not going to change. I can be bashed to obliteration. The internet says Rudy patron account down to 0. I've lost everything. Well, you know what? I'm going to ride the ship to 0 then. I don't see any problem with that. If things are really that bad and all my patrons are gone, the views on the channel are gone, everything's over with, everything's at 0, well, you know what? Got nothing to lose then, right? I feel pretty good about it. I still think that the future is going to be unexpected. What else am I missing? I missed there's something else. Oh, Magic 30. I keep getting messages. You guys want me to bring up a video on Magic 30. Well, I'll do a video on Magic 30. But just wanted to comment real quick on it. Magic 30, I don't want to say the cult, but the group of people there was a group and a private group on social media that every time Magic 30 box went below 1,400 or 1,300, they'd all buy them up. In the last couple months specifically, it feels like that particular group is starting to kind of, I don't want to say give up, but they backed away to let everything settle, maybe to see how low it goes. Magic 30 is still holding up fine. It hasn't collapsed to zero. It's not a dramatic thing. As of filming this video, Magic 30 boxes are like 11.95. So again, there's a lot of them on TCG Player. I think we have almost a record number of Magic 30 sealed boxes on TCG Player. And, it's funny to make fun of things because it's like, I had a patron message me and goes, Rudy, you should make a video. Because more MetaZoo native boxes have sold in the last 60 days than Magic 30 boxes. And I thought that was a funny meme. I'm not going to make a video just on that topic, but I'll mention at the end of this video when no one's watching. And, I see meme moments like that, and it just makes me snicker because, it's cool to make fun of Weiss and MetaZoo. It's cool to make fun of all the new Pokemon sets are bad. It's cool to make fun of all the heavy bags and the lingo. It's cool to do that. It's the cool thing to do, right? But it's really not that bad. And humans, are wired to be dramatic. And Magic 30 is holding up better than I thought it would. And I can't say Magic 30 is doing terrible. We are in a bad market. Even though I dislike Magic 30, I have to give the respect to Magic 30, and I'll make a video on it, because Magic 30 is holding up fine. And even with all the supply of Magic 30 on TCG Player now, just sitting there. I think like one box of Magic, I think somebody told me like 3 boxes of Magic 30 is sold in weeks. Like it makes MetaZoo look like a liquid asset, But you can't bash that, okay? I'm going to defend Magic 30, I know, right? But it's held up fine. Even $11.95 for a Magic 30 box. If you had bought Magic 30 for $1,000 plus tax, you'd be into Magic 30 for like $1,090 with tax. So if you sold Magic 30 today for $1,200, after shipping and fees, you lose 5%. And it was kind of funny because I remember almost a year ago when Magic 30 happened, how I had these threats and people attacking me saying, oh, look at Rudy, telling people to buy Flesh and Blood and Magic and MetaZoo and Pokemon. He's telling no one to buy Magic 30, which Magic 30 is going to be the best investment ever. People said Magic 30 was going to go to $10,000 a box. And I'm like, sometimes we look for patterns when there aren't patterns. Sometimes the human brain likes to spin things in ways or coincidences when there's really not that big of a thing there's not really anything going on there. So I just want to comment real quick. Magic 30, if anyone who actually bought it is trying to sell the box on TCG Player, you lose 5-10% of your money after shipping and fees. Honestly, I think it's doing pretty good. I think Magic 30, considering all the free product that was handed out, most of those boxes on TCG Player are free boxes. And considering how bad the market is and how much everything's been repriced lower, Magic 30's held up good. And that is the fact of the situation. I still don't like it. But the context and the details of the situation is, even though if you bought Magic 30 in a box and you're trying to flip it today, you would still lose money, it's actually done pretty good. And that's what I want to leave you all with on today's video on this channel. Even when I don't like something like Magic 30, the difference on people on other channels and this one is I will tell you how it is, even if I don't agree with it. Now, you all may think I may have an ulterior motive or there's some secret thing, but I'm too busy. I don't have the time to calculate this crazy crap. I go nonstop between my family, my little one, just trying to deal with all the businesses, checking on PCG, doing videos, dealing with rental houses, businesses, stocks, bonds, investments, phone calls, distribution, customer service. I don't have time to sit here with strings and articulate. But I know people out there believe that Rudy does. And honestly, that's okay. Because sometimes those people give me ideas that are funnier than how creative I can be. So again, it's important to distribute the news and information to you all. And to end this video today, yeah, Magic 30 is holding up better than I thought. Still don't like it and I disagree with it. But I got to admit, even if you bought Magic 30 release and you sold it today and you only lose 5-10%, It's a lot better than I thought it would do. And that's all I got today. Hope you all have a beautiful day. Thanks for listening. And as always, be careful. Being too positive and too negative on things, emotions can lead us to bad choices. As always, have a beautiful day. Penis.